Happy morning, evening, or night. This is the first official episode of the Scooch Podcast. I'm your host. We'll get to that. I'm your host, Skrilly D. And today, I'm joined by my awesome, friendly, happy-go-lucky co-host. He's been with me from the beginning, from the womb.
Okay, don't go that far.
JMash97.
What's up, everybody?
He's that guy, yeah. So, welcome to the first official episode of the Scooch Podcast. But is it really the first episode? You see, we recorded this before. I have to come clean. I have to spill the beans. We've recorded this episode before, but
we have.
Ultimately, we ran into some audio issues, and we had this.
No. You forgot to hit record.
You didn't have the backup recording.
You forgot to have. You forgot to hit record.
I'm holding you accountable.
You forgot to hit record. Don't hold me accountable for your sins.
I did not forget. Okay, for the record, I did not forget to hit record.
Yes, you did.
I recorded, but your audio levels were too low.
Sure.
And I could not bring them up.
Sure.
Anyway, so we had a good run.
Are you sure you hit the record button this time?
Yes. I hit the record button the first time as well. But you're right. Anyway, so yeah, I had to spill the beans. We talked about this before. It won't be as authentic as, our first reactions because we didn't know our opinions about this film until we recorded that day that we did. But now we kind of know how we feel about this movie, so it won't be as authentic. It won't be as shocking, whatever simile you want to use. But with all that out of the way, today we're talking the age-old question: is Godfather 3 actually the black sheep of the trilogy? And the answer is,
when you phrase it like that,
it's an absolute yes for me. It's an absolute yes. This movie is terrible. It's bad. It's disgraceful. It's not the worst movie ever, though. Well, it's well shot. It's comprehensible, but it's still really bad, and especially in the context of the Godfather trilogy, this fails in comparison. What do you think about the film? What are some of your thoughts?
I mean, when we did the last video, I was a little bit more positive at the start than my good pal Noah here. And he trashed me because of it, to the point where I eventually ranked it I scored it a lot lower than I would have at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, I egged his house. I doxed him. I swatted him. I said that this guy doesn't like Godfather 3. Go get him.
Shut up.
I'm perfectly joking.
I mean,
I do not condone swatting. It's the shittiest form of anything you could do, really.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. It was like straight down the middle. Comparing it to the first two Godfather movies,
straight down the middle, you gave it straight down the middle, you gave it a 25% out of 100.
Yeah, that was at the end when I kept talking about it, and then you kept badgering me about it.
Oh, you're talking about your initial reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had it at 50%, and then went down to about 25.
All right, fair enough. Continue.
You just keep interrupting me. Then again, I did the same thing to you, so I can't really say anything.
As part of the Scooch Podcast, we interrupt each other. That's then we lose our train of thought, and then We end the episode.
That sounds about right. That sounds about like every single video I've done with you in the past. Dang, what was I talking about? Thanks.
Your initial feeling about Godfather 3.
Oh yeah. But I mean, Godfather 3, when you're comparing it to the 1 and 2, vastly inferior to 1 and 2. I don't think there's anyone that will argue.
Yeah, absolutely feels in comparison. There is no comparison, really. It just shares the same name.
I mean, there were some characters.
Yeah, I mean,
characters.
So we're gonna
have this conversation again.
From 2, which was in the 50s, now we're in 1979, so it's like maybe like 2 decades later. And also this movie's almost 2 decades later from the initial filming of Godfather 2. So we follow the Corleone family yet again, but it's more of a character piece about Michael. You know, it kind of just centers around that this central family of him, Kay, Tony, and Mary, and his nephew Vinny. But yeah, this is more of a character piece around Michael and how he evolves and how he regrets the actions that he's done throughout the series, and especially for calling the hit out on his older brother Fredo. You see in this film.
I would say as much as it is about Michael, it's also about Vincent.
Yeah, but Vincent's not really an interesting character to me.
I'm not saying whether he's interesting or not, but it's his rise as dawn.
As
well as the fall of Michael.
I think this movie is way more central of cause you know, like I said before, Coppola was gonna call this one the death of Michael Corleone. So it's pretty blatant. This movie is about Michael.
I'm not saying it's like Vincent is the main character. That's not what I'm saying.
Then what are you saying?
I'm saying it's about both of them.
Not really. There's more central character development with Michael. Like with Vincent, he's like, I don't know. He really doesn't go through any character development. There's nothing. Coppola doesn't really give Vincent any real like motivation, I guess. Like what's driving Vincent?
I swear I really don't want to make an incest joke right here.
I mean,
right now, but...
okay. So what makes Vincent quote unquote interesting is...
I'm not saying no. You're putting words in my mouth. No.
I'm not saying you. I said quote unquote interesting. Like, this is what Coppola wanted this character. The love interest. There always has to be a love interest. I don't know why it's his cousin, and I don't know why incest is treated so normally in this film.
I swear, I like how you're the one pointing this stuff out that I pointed out in the last one.
No, we both discussed this.
I was the one that actually pointed it out. You didn't even realize it.
You
didn't even realize
I mentioned it first.
That's not incest.
I mentioned it first.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mentioned it first, how off-putting it was.
Didn't. No, you didn't.
I swear I did.
You didn't think that was a daggone incest.
What?
You was like that. There's nothing wrong. You were like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, like, really Joseph is promoting slander right now. I did not say that. On my Grammy's grave, I did not say that.
Oh, come on now. Why you gotta do that now?
I'm just telling the audience how serious I am. I didn't say that. But yeah, it's just really off-putting that its incest is treated so normally in this film. Like no one really objects to it. Of course, Michael does, but he doesn't really.
I've already told you he doesn't really talk. He doesn't really object to the incest. He objects to protecting his daughter.
Yeah, right.
He's
not really blatantly disgusted by the fact that they're first cousins. It's more of a protecting his daughter from that kind of life. But yeah, that's just one of the many bad aspects of this film. It's like, for one, Michael Corleone doesn't seem like the same character. He certainly doesn't look all the same. Al Pacino has aged quite a bit, and he looks quite different to me. Sounds quite different. I mean, yeah, I know it. I mean, I don't know. They just seem like two different characters to me.
I'm thinking about getting a Godfather chair. Just like, what were we talking about?
Why don't we talk about Sofia Coppola and her performance?
Oh dear Lord, here we go again.
Well, of course it's again. We're recording our podcast. What do you mean?
Yeah,
here we go again. You know what you were getting into recording this podcast.
Somebody didn't hit record.
Okay. I'm not arguing. Yeah, Sofia Coppola, daughter of the director, he put her into this film in an incest role.
What's his name again?
I don't remember. You know I don't remember.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, that guy. Franz Coppola. He put his daughter in an incest role, and
I actually never thought. Wow.
Yeah. Kind of weird, but so originally Winona Ryder was supposed to play the role of Mary.
What's her name again?
Winona Ryder?
No. Winona.
What? You said Winona.
That's how you say it.
Winona?
It's not Winona.
I think it's Winona.
No.
There's no two
I've
N's.
I've always heard it called Winona.
There's no two N's in her name, is there?
Yeah, there is.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
No. How do you pronounce that, Google?
Yeah, there's two N's. Winona.
Hey, Corona. Any Winona, get a different name. Ryder was supposed to play this role, but she had better things to do, such as Edward Scissorhands, than to play Mary Corleone, and I think she dodged a bullet here for sure. I think she could have saved it in some aspects, but ultimately, I don't think this movie could have been saved by one more good performance. I think really the only performances that shine are Al Pacino, the actor for Kate, and maybe Andy Garcia does a tolerable role, but it's nothing special. Even with these good performances, they do seem a little phoned in compared to the first two movies, but I mean they're serviceable. They're good. Al Pacino has some good scenes. What was I talking about?
Yeah, some good scenes. Al Pacino.
Wow. Yeah. The last thing I said.
It's like a second ago.
I know. I know that much. I'm talking about beforehand. So, yeah, it's, Sofia Coppola is bad. But I kind of in a way think she's one of the saving graces of the movie because every scene she's in is just, it's funny. It's the.
Do you want to talk about the end right now?
Maybe one of the most interesting things about this film is because this film does get a little boring at times, and I mean, I would say every scene that she in, she kind of steals the show, not in a good way, but she definitely steals the show. No, we don't have to get to the end yet, but do you feel like this film was necessary? Or do you think we could totally do without? Like, if this movie never existed, we wouldn't have to see the downfall, I guess, of Michael Corleone or the death of him? Or do you think we should get a part 3, but it shouldn't have been this movie?
I mean, it just... first of all, I didn't hate Sofia Coppola when we first did this review at the start. I didn't really hate Sofia Coppola's performance. I didn't like her.
He was drooling over her.
No, I was.
He had hard eyes.
Okay, fair enough. I lied about you. You can lie about me. Fine, good.
He. Let me just say, one hand was occupied whilst watching the film.
Shut up! No, shut up. Dang God! He was drooling. Wow, I never went that far with my lies. Jeez, Noah.
And then when he. And then when you
shut up. You don't even talk. No, you don't even talk anymore. You're not talking anymore.
Well, hold on. Let me speak. And then when he found out that she was in an incest role, both hands were occupied. You feel me?
Shut up. You so freaking retarded, man. Dude, even with my lies about you never hit the record button, it was never that. Wow.
I mean, I'm pretty sure audience figured it. I mean, they don't know our dynamic, but I think they could tell we're just giving each other a hard time.
I know, but sheesh, man. I'm not that messed up. Hey, gum. I don't forget what I was talking about.
You said you were crazy over her at the beginning.
I wasn't crazy. I didn't. Okay, here's the thing. On the internet, you either think it's the greatest thing ever, or you think it's a total piece of crap.
I don't think anybody thinks this movie is the greatest ever.
You're missing the point, Noah.
I'm not. Nobody likes this film.
You are missing you're missing the point of what I just said.
What was your point?
Exactly that. My point is, you either, on the internet, you either have to think this is the greatest movie ever, or this is the greatest performance ever, this is the greatest whatever.
It's either black or white.
Or, yes, there's no shade of gray.
Yeah. Right.
This is a shade of gray.
There's poopy.
This
is a shade of brown. This movie's crap. Is that fair to say? Could you
I'm not saying this is a good movie. I am not saying this is a good movie. There are just some things I didn't. For years, I've heard how bad Sofia Coppola was in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like super low to the ground expectations of her performance.
Yes.
What I saw, she wasn't as bad as what I was expecting. She wasn't great. Not saying she was great. No.
I think you have a bit of a bias here.
There were some parts, and we'll talk about them in a minute.
He cried at the end.
Yeah, I cried because I wasted like 3 hours of my life.
That amazing line delivery made Joseph cry with tears.
Yeah, I wasted 3 hours of my life. That's why I cried.
I cried from laughing.
But, hey, you please mess me up.
JMatch97.exe stopped working.
Yeah, pretty much.
Restart the program or shut down. Wait, what does it say on the prompts? It's like, wait for the program to work or close it down.
I was thinking a 404 error page.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm either should I troubleshoot and restart or wait for JMatch to start working?
Wow. Oh man, yeah.
He just can't stop thinking about the I'm not gonna go there. But
oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like I said, I don't think she was that bad as what I was expecting. I don't think she was anything special in this movie. I've never seen any of.
Simp.
Will you quit interrupting me? Hey, go. Okay, I won't interrupt you anymore. I promise.
Okay, fair enough.
We good?
Yeah. Simp.
You stupid.
Is it fair to say you're simping?
Hate you. I freaking hate you, man. I'm already regretting agreeing to do this. I swear, I say that every single time we do a video.
You do indeed.
It's become like a running gag.
Guys, I promise we'll try to not make these episodes as goofy. It's just that we've already talked about this, so we're just kind of trying to make it interesting for ourselves. When we initially recorded, this was much more civilized and more articulate discussion, but now we're just kind of dicking around.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's let JMatch talk. Let me shut up.
I've pretty much said everything. I mean, she wasn't as great as I was expecting, but she wasn't as bad. All that kind of stuff. There was a couple of scenes where I thought her acting was, it was okay, I guess. There were others, one in particular that we'll talk about in a minute. That was plain awful. Her acting, as well as pretty much everybody else's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this movie, because the last time we did this video, at the start of it, I was coming in with it being a lot more positive because I had a feeling Noah didn't like it because he sent me a little message, just one word, wow. And I had a feeling it wasn't a good wow.
No, I sent you another message. It was just one word. It wasn't wow. It was dad. Ellipses.
No, you didn't send me that one.
I know. I'm joking.
Sheesh,
dad.
Stupid. Okay, you want to go ahead and talk about this right here, right now?
No, let's progress there. So I think JMatch is done simping for Sofia Coppola.
I swear to God.
Now, this movie does feature, while not a good quality, it does feature the biggest hit scene we've seen in The Godfather.
The what?
The biggest hit scene.
Oh, hit.
Yeah. And then there was
I thought you said something else.
There was a hit by a friggin' helicopter. I guess.
Like I said last time, I don't know if it's the biggest yet, but like I said,
it's the big. I mean, it's the most bombastic. Now, well, where are they?
It's the most cartoonish.
How? Yes, I mean, this is a '90s film, and ultimately, everything in the '90s has to be over the top. But Yeah, this scene was ridiculous, and I feel like in some ways this movie was trying to have some comedic moments. Like, I mean, it wasn't really funny, but I could see it as comedic relief when the helicopter scene happened and the guy was calling out for his lucky coat, like he couldn't find his lucky coat.
Yeah, I think that was done for laughs.
Yeah, it's like so
I'm
out of
pretty
place.
sure that was done for laughs.
Yeah, and there was no point in the scene. There was no tension because Michael got out safe and sound with no sort of tension to be had. It's just really stupid scene to me, at least.
Well, he had a heart attack or whatever it was later.
You mean Michael's diabetic attack, like when he went to the diabetic coma?
Well, it wasn't I thought it was a heart attack or something.
No. That's why he asked the priest for candy or orange juice or whatever, because it's low blood sugar. Yeah, like they don't really build to this, and it just happens out of nowhere with no sort of backstory or correlation or any tie-ins. Like Michael, and when he's in this scene where he's in the kitchen, he just has a I don't know what you'll call it, like a diabetic episode. I'm not sure what the medical term for this is, but it just kind of caught me off guard, and it was it's kind of funny. It just happens out of nowhere. But yeah, it's just kind of weird how this element was thrown in the middle of the movie with no explanation. It just, all right, I guess Michael has diabetes now.
Yeah. I don't even know what to talk about anymore.
To be fair, there's not much you can say about this movie.
I'm trying to remember what all we talked about in that daggone other video.
I mean, we spent almost like the same amount of time, and then we went on about the other Godfather movies.
I mean, we already talked about Al Pacino, Andy Garcia, Sofia Coppola, the two death scenes. Oh, before we get to the two death scenes, since when can you kill somebody using only glasses?
Oh yeah. Since 1990 apparently, because yeah.
That's when they made the sharpest pair of glasses.
Yeah. So they had to discontinue those. Yeah, this movie's awful. Nothing really interesting happens.
I mean, there were some good parts in the movie, though.
Like what? Please elaborate.
Mostly anything with Al Pacino and Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
Their whole relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Hashtag great segues.
Segue to what?
Stupid. Nothing.
What are we segueing to?
And I'm surprised you haven't mentioned your little favorite quote.
Oh.
See if you can remember it this time.
Hey, it's me.
Yep, this turned into Rocky.
Yeah. Michael says the iconic quote. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Okay. Don't ever try to do an impression again.
Stop!
That sounded more like Al Pacino than that other one.
I know. I'm letting out my acting chops for you. So okay, I guess since we're kind of at the if we're telling our critique in chronological order of this movie, I guess we're sort of at the end of this. So
yeah,
Mary gets shot.
I don't know if we've been going in order, but sure.
Mary got shot.
Yeah.
She got shot, folks.
All right, now where do you want to start with this scene? Do you want to start with the acting? Do you want to start with the fact that a supposed A-class hitman missed at point blank range, missed his target within 3, 4, 5 feet?
It was, yeah.
Do you want to talk about?
They're all so good.
Oh boy,
they're all ripe for the picking. So whichever one you want to go for first, shoot your shot.
Well, let's save the acting stuff for later.
Yeah.
How I can shoot? I can hit my target that close. Anybody who's never even held a gun can shoot something 3, 4, 5 feet away. And in a world, I don't know, someone who's supposed one of the best hitmen can't shoot his target.
Yeah.
But he can shoot, what's his face? That other Don he killed. At pretty much the same distance.
But
maybe a little closer.
As we discussed before, maybe he just wanted Mary out of the movie. He wasn't aiming at Michael.
I think you're reaching now.
The hit was for Mary all this time. Maybe it was. I mean, what better way to hit Michael, not with death, but the death of one of his children? See?
All right, let's talk about the acting. You want to go first?
Joseph has no rebuttal to that.
I don't. Sure. I think we're just reaching for straws with that.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
I don't know.
Okay, so Mary gets shot, and she comes up with one of the most iconic movie quotes in all of movie history. The best acting. Did you notice this movie was actually nominated for 20 awards? Oscars,
you sure about that?
I do believe so. Nominated. They didn't win any, but yeah, it was nominated.
Hang on, I'll look it up.
All right, so I'll talk about Sophia. Sophia gets shot, and she says very blankly, "Dad," and then she falls over dead.
It wasn't even that interesting.
Did I make it too interesting?
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, imagine that.
It's very, very dry.
Yeah.
Dad.
With the straightest face ever. And
it got nominated for Best Picture. Are you freaking kidding me?
They had to pay off somebody for that one. Man. Really?
It got nominated for Best Picture with Awakenings,
Best Supporting.
Ghost. I've never seen Awakening, so I can't really say anything about that.
Did it get Best Supporting Actress?
Goodfellas, and what won that year, Dances with Wolves.
Did it get?
It got nominated for Best Director for Francis Ford Coppola.
Best Supporting Actress.
It got nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and with Andy Garcia.
Yeah, I did hear about that one. So yeah, and after she gets shot, people are all in a in a manic state, going ah ah, and
Best original song.
And all her love interest Vincent had to say was no.
Art direction.
And
I'm
then,
not even listening to you. I'm just looking at this daggone crap.
Get off of that.
Cinematography,
Get
film
off
editing.
of that. Nobody cares.
Okay, fair enough.
Nobody cares about the awards a 1990 movie won, or not won, but was nominated for.
Sheesh.
And so,
Nominated for Best Picture.
and I mean, Al Pacino shows some. Yeah, it's not bad acting at all. Like I mean, it's pretty well acted. His distraught over his daughter dying. I mean, if this was my daughter and she did that, I'd probably laugh first and then grieve.
Freaking awful.
But I said I would grieve afterwards. But yeah. And then after that, we get a time jump. Hang
on. I didn't even say anything about it.
I did. I said Al Pacino shows some pretty good acting here with the distraught of his daughter dying.
I was just going to say that I never even talked about the acting.
That's because you're reading out, I don't know, the Wikipedia page.
True. That's probably true. I was just going to say that, I said last time, she made Chandler Riggs look like a decent actor from Walking Dead. I mean, he's not that. I don't think he's that bad of an actor, but
he's pretty wooden.
He's he delivered a similar line a whole lot better than she did.
He said, "Paul."
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what she said.
I swear I was about to say that.
I mean, I'm sure you know, but didn't he quit Walking Dead to pursue a Fortnite career?
No, he got fired. Basically.
Right. How did he get fired?
It's a long crappy story. They screwed him over.
Oh, that sucks. Well, that's I feel a lot more better than him just quitting for a streaming career to stream Fortnite.
I don't even know if I don't think he even does streaming.
That's the stories I've read, is that he went to pursue gaming, like Fortnite specifically.
As far as I know, he went to pursue just some kind of school.
The school of Fortnite.
Yeah,
I'd go to that school. A little off topic here.
Okay.
I don't like Fortnite. What's with the craze around Fortnite? How do you feel about it?
I don't care about Fortnite. You're talking about Michael's death. Spoiler alert.
Okay. So Michael dies in Fortnite. He was a little too late to drop from the battle bus.
Okay, just shut up.
So we get a time jump after the terrifically acted scene by Sofia Coppola, and does it say the year that the time jump?
No clue.
No, but we see Michael or Al Pacino in older guy makeup, because he's already sort of an old guy in this film, but even older. Doesn't say the time period, doesn't say his age, doesn't say the location, but it looks like probably Sicily. Just based on how the scenes of Sicily we saw in previous films, that looks like he went to retire there. And we get a shot of Michael putting on sunglasses and falling over dead. Need I say more? Need I say more?
With his dog, not a chicken.
And he dies gracefully by his pet chicken.
That's an inside joke. With the
I remember chicken. I don't know why.
Noah thought it was a chicken that was sitting there beside Michael at his death. And it was not a chicken, it was a dog. No matter how much Noah thinks it was a chicken, it was a dog. I don't know how you can think it's a dog is a chicken.
I don't know. I just remember chicken, and chickens make more sense.
Well, if that's the size of a chicken, we eating good or not.
I feel like that chickens would be more prevalent in Italia than a dog would.
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm not.
There's dogs everywhere.
I know that, and I know there's Italian breeds, but isn't Sicily more of like a village than like Milan or those bigger cities?
I don't know. I've never been to Italy.
Well, it could be a chicken. How do you know there's not chickens everywhere?
I don't know.
See, could have been a chicken. You decide. Let us know in the comments. Is it a chicken or is it a dog? So in the ultimate 90s fashion, he puts on sunglasses as a badass going out with a chicken. How did you feel about this scene? Do you feel it was insulting? Like all the buildup of these 9 hours of film, we build up to this part where Michael is alone, puts on sunglasses, falls over dead. How do you feel? Do you feel cheated?
Boy,
is this a good send off or a bad one?
Awful.
I guess they wanted to show maybe polar.
The only what?
You go ahead.
The only positive, and that's like the only time I'll use that word for this. The only positive thought that I can have about the decision is that it was probably the most tragic way for him to go without his family, which is what he was fighting for since the first Godfather.
Right, and
that's the only.
Yeah, and I think in a way that's
best word probably, but
that's what they were going for. Like the other Godfather, Vito, he came with nothing, with his mother dying and coming to America as a small boy all alone, to having everything, like the title of being Godfather, a well-respected person with a loving family. And Michael was brought up through that, and now ultimately, as it seems, died with nothing. It doesn't seem like he got back together with Kay. We don't know if he's still on with good terms with his son Anthony. He of course lost his daughter Mary. Yeah. But I
don't
think,
even know what else to say anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for, but it's kind of executed pretty poorly. Do you wanna beat the dead horse and talk about the other two movies, or?
It's up to you. You're in charge.
Okay, so we both agree first two.
Next episode will probably be more interesting, at least for us.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
Since you already announced the Godfather 3, we got to do this one.
Yeah, yep, it is true. So yeah. Don't expect this for every episode. It's just we're kind of tired of talking about Godfather at this point.
Yeah, because we've been talking
about 2 hours, maybe more.
Right now, yeah. Right now, we're trying to I'm personally trying to remember everything we talked about the Godfather 3 in the last video. I think we pretty much hit everything.
Yeah, although it wasn't,
I can remember.
It wasn't showed to the public our opinions about these movies. I think it was still a pretty interesting discussion how Joseph and I feel about the Godfather films, and yeah, it was a fun time. So yeah, that before Scooge is even a thing, we already have a lost episode. So
that'll never see the light of day.
Yeah, like seriously,
not by choice.
I might leak the audio of just me, but it would seem like I'm a crazed dementia patient, talking to myself.
So what you are?
Yeah, basically. I don't want to show my true colors. So we can both agree the first two movies are really good pieces of cinematic
sure
artistry, and we both really like them, and we pretty much rated them perfectly. I think I rated 2 a little lower than 10. I think it was like a 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5, and the first one was a 5 out of 5 for me. I think Joseph was like 10 out of, or 100% on both of them. He said maybe the second one was like 1 or 2% lower, if even that. But
yeah, I'm about to say, don't you say I scored at 1% or 2%?
Yeah. So let's get on with the score of The Godfather 3 and our closing thoughts about it. Do you want to go first?
I mean, I think I've already said mine. I'm not sure.
I mean, we haven't gave our score on it.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Like, I think I've already said mine at the start of it. But
you said your initial, or I kind of blurted it out, and I was.
No, my original score at the beginning of the lost episode, shall we call it? That's what we're going to call that episode now. The lost episode of Scooge.
Cursed
episode. It was at 50% right down the middle. And then as we started talking about it, went down to 25%. And now as we're talking about it more, I'm going down to 20. So 20% is my official score for Godfather 3.
20. Oh wow, it went down even more percentage. Me, I give this a 1 out of 5. Yeah, 1 out of 5. Like you could put whatever symbol you want. It could be stars. It could be video cameras. 1 out of 5 video cameras.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I chose 5 also is Scooge is a 5-letter word. So I give this an S. It's not a full Scooge, it's an S.
Are we seriously going to do this crap?
No, I'm just joking. But
wow.
As I was saying that,
I swear I would say something, but I'm not going to.
What do you guys say? What do you guys say?
Are you going to edit these videos?
Nope. This is all raw footage.
Okay, I'm not going to say that.
Say it.
No.
Say it. Say it.
I'll tell you after we're done. Say it. Say it. No.
Say it. Whisper. Just whisper it to me.
I was gonna tell you after we're done.
Fine. Yeah. This movie's bad. You could skip it if you haven't seen it. I would recommend you do skip it. Save that 3 hours for something more productive or entertaining. So, with all that being said, thank you so much, guys, for joining us on this adventure on our first official podcast. Second, technically, but our first official one going out. Make sure to check out my channel, YouTube, SUBREDDIT. I live stream. I try to live stream 3 to 4 times a week. Come check me out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You, Joseph? You want to shout out anything?
I mean, go sub to go check out my channel, JMash97, on YouTube. If you see anything you like, hit that subscribe button. Also, I got plenty of videos coming in the future. I got the top 50 superhero movies. Ranking all the Pixar movies. I got ranking all the 56 Disney animated movies on my channel before Wreck-It Ralph 2 came out a couple of years ago. I've already announced that I got the top 250 movies of all time coming out next year. The Godfather 1 and 2, spoiler alert, is going to be on there. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got working on right at the moment as we're talking right here, right now.
It's kind of funny. We didn't even mention something's missing.
Oh, Darius?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to say what you said last time in the last episode?
Yeah. So
he's not here because he didn't take a shower.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's
So hashtag it, Darius, get a shower.
Yeah, get a shower. Hashtag. Make sure that goes trending on Twitter. I know there's more important stuff trending on Twitter right now, but it's hashtag Scooter Tube stinks, take shower stinky, just like that. And hopefully Scooter Tube will join us in our next episode. So
oh wait, do you want to announce what the next episode is going to be?
Yeah, I was just getting to that. Usually the format we have, or we're gonna try to go for, is at the end of each episode, one of us takes a turn and recommends a movie that we should all watch, and what we'll talk about in the next episode. So I said The Godfather 3 for this one, and now it's Joseph's turn.
Oh, I say it?
Yeah. You got a movie for us?
Oh, boy. So I don't know how I want to.
You could just say the movie.
I didn't know you were going to tell me to say this.
Well, who else is going to say it?
Well, usually I would think of a way to talk about it before announce it, but the way back, I think it's one of the most underrated movies to come out in, I think, 2013.
Well, don't give your opinions yet.
No, I already did.
So yeah, I guess next.
And I know Darius hadn't done it, so Darius, I'm calling you out right now. Check it out.
Well, one thing I do want to ask you is, we kind of want this to be available to all of us and not be behind the paywall. Maybe something that's on Netflix.
I don't know if it's on Netflix or not.
Yeah, exactly. So the episode 2 could be the way back, could be not. Stay tuned. And thanks for watching. All of the links will be in the description down below. Comment what you think about The Godfather 3, if you agree, if you disagree. And yeah, see you next time.